Yeah, welcome to MySQL webinar series from javapassion.com. Today's topic is a backup and recovery, topic number 10. So let's get started. So we're going to actually cover 3 or 4 topics. We'll see how we can back up and restore databases, and then back up and restore tables, or just table structures or data. So let's start with the backup and restore databases. So if you want to actually back up and restore database, basically you can use MySQL dump utility command. So you say MySQL dump and your username and password and the database that you want to back up, and then you are going to give a file name, and in this case temp testdb.sql, and temp db SQL file is actually basically SQL a script file that you can actually use later on to restore. So here here you can actually create the new database. Maybe I'm going to call it testdb restored, and then you're going to set it as a default database, and then you can just source the file that you have created, and then this database will have all the tables and its contents of that database in this, so this is the database. And so this is actually at the command line, and you can also actually so this is what we have done, and restore SQL file at the command line. This is actually the way that you could actually also do, either you can actually within the command line or actually within the MySQL shell file. Okay, so let's actually try that. So this is the case that you are going to actually back up the restore at the command line. Okay, and this one is actually from within in the shell. Okay, so let's try that. Exercise 1. So here we're going to actually go to hands-on lab directory called the MySQL underscore backup, and then we are going to log in as a client, and then we have a test database and the table script file. So here we are going to just delete testdb file, then we're going to create a testdb database file, and then we're going to use it, and then we're basically creating employees and departments table. Okay, and then we're going to populate those departments and employees table. So let's try that. So I'm going to just copy this source file. So this is just a test data. So now if I want to actually see select and from employees, and we have 5 entries in the employees, and for departments we have 4 entries. Okay, so that's the test data that we have. So now we are going to back up and restore at the command line using the MySQL dump command line utility. So you can find out how you can use MySQL dump utility using help screen here. So at the command line, what we are going to do is we are going to capture the contents of this testdb database into temp testdb SQL file. So I'm going to just run this one at the command line. Okay. All right, so that file is created. So if I want to take a look at the contents of temp testdb SQL, this is basically SQL script file. Okay. And here, if you are going to actually run this script file so we just see the contents. And then we are going to use that script file to restore. So we are going to actually create the testdb restore database. So what we're going to do is, we are going to create a brand new database called the testdb restored. And if we set this new database as a default database, and we should not see anything, right? So we can say show tables. And so this database is empty for now. So what you're going to do now is we are going to actually use the script file using source command within the shell. So we're going to say source, source, and the file that we have created here is testdb and SQL. Oops. Let me see. I'm gonna just. Oh, I should not have the this semicolon at the end. Okay, so now the new database called the testdb restored is populated. So now we can actually take a look at all the table status of this new database using show table status from this database. And then you can see we have two tables populated, departments, and it has 4 rows, and employees also has 5 rows. So if we say select from employees. Well, first of all, let's see the tables. Show tables. And you can see we have 2 tables, and we can see the contents from employees table. Okay. All right. So you can see the new database has been populated from the script file that we have created. The next one is we are going to restore a database at the command line. Okay, so here we're going to actually we're going to just create another test database called the testdb restore2. Okay, and again, if you take a look at the we'll set the default database of this new database. And if you see show tables, and we should actually see empty. Okay, so this new database that we just created doesn't have any tables. Okay, so now we are going to restore at the command line. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we are going to, if you see this command, oops, sorry. We are going to get this file to be the source into this. So we are actually restoring at the command line. So here, I'm going to type this one. Okay, so now if you go to here, show tables, now we see 2 tables. So this new database has been populated by this command. Okay, I can select database, and that has the contents. All right, so let's move forward. Now, next one is, so what we have seen so far is backing up database and restoring that database, the contents of that database, either within the shell or at the command line. Now we're going to actually see how we can back up and restore just table or tables. Okay, so let's actually see the presentation slide. So you specify basically the name of the table right after the database. Okay, so here we are just backing up the backup just the employees table. Okay, and then you can actually restore the source again using the same command that you have seen. Okay, so let's do exercise 2. So here, let me just move this one. So here we are going to the backup just employees table.